As more and more people are adapting to the organic lifestyle, it is essential to understand exactly what organic food is. Organic food is that which is grown with the standards of organic farming, which means it is grown without the use of synthetic chemical fertilizers and GMOs. Organic farming is not a recent invention. In fact, it existed before the advent of industrial agriculture. We started considering food as a functional input instead of a nutritious diet that is essential for our well being. The organic movement that we see today is about going back to the traditional systems of growing food. We need to understand the impact of chemical free food on our health and the health of the planet. We need to understand where our food is coming from, how it is grown, and we need to be curious about its impact on our health. So, in order to expand this discussion and our knowledge on organic food, we have initiated a dialogue with some organic food brands of the country who are contributing to the organic food movement. We have with us Conscious Community Pune, Two Brothers Organic Farm, Sehaj Samruddha, Sendriya Setu, Shashwat Organics, and Honest Organics.
We came about forming the cocoa concept about almost 4 years ago when Surbhi and I were trying to change the way we live our lives. We were very keen to live a more sustainable and responsible lifestyle, and this led us on a path of just discovering not just for ourselves but realizing that the entire community probably needs what we needed at that point of time. Taking that into consideration, we actually set up what we call today the conscious community. The conscious community was to bring together like-minded people and people who probably had the same needs that we had. People who wanted organic food, who wanted to know where their food was coming from. People who wanted to lead a much more environment-friendly lifestyle. People who wanted to worry about where their waste went. So all these different things, we were sure that we were not the only ones who were thinking about it or talking about it. And that's why we set up the conscious community, which is now called the Coco Pune. As a subsidiary of that, we started off markets in Pune, and we started them off to actually bring in ease of availability to make switching your lifestyle much easier, because we realize that if things are convenient, then the chances that you'll change your habits are probably higher. So that's how the Coco Pune movement actually started about 4 years ago.
The organic movement is not something that is new. It's basically the way food has been grown traditionally over generations. The idea of organic food is that you mimic nature, you learn from nature, and you use the mechanisms that are already existing, that nature already has. So the mechanisms to make your soil fertile, to decompose, and when leaves fall on the ground, when any animals decompose, all of this adds to the properties of the soil, which then becomes more nutritious and grows, therefore results in healthier plants. And the organic food movement basically works with nature to produce food in this manner. Now, this is the way food has always been grown. So it's not a new movement. It's something that has existed forever. And basically the advancement of technology has meant that we have moved away from this, and we have started using artificial methods in the race to grow more food and to grow abundant yield. And of course, this has therefore meant that we have lost a lot of our biodiversity. We have lost a lot of the properties of the soil that was otherwise helping food grow right on its own without us needing to do something to it. So I believe that the organic food movement is actually a lot about going back and looking back at tradition and looking back at how we have survived for eons to feed ourselves and feed the world using what is available around us and working in harmony with what is available around us. And I think that's what the organic food movement is about, is to recognize this.
This farm, in the name of Two Brothers Organic Farms, it's an organic farm, a natural farm, a biodiverse farm, heavily intercropped. We have cows at the farm. What we're planting is of an indigenous variety. So how did all this start? Me and my brother Satyajit, we together run this. In the year 2012, we left our jobs. We had a love, a passion for farming, and that's how we got to this. There are majorly 4 to 5 practices that we follow at the farms. The heart of the farm are the cows. We have close to around 90 to 100 cows, all Gir cows, and the only input to the soil is the cow dung and the cow urine from these cows. A second practice that we follow is only using indigenous seeds. So all that we are planting, if it is papayas, it is indigenous variety of papayas. If it is wheat, it is khapli wheat. If it is jawar, it is dagdi jawar. If it is groundnuts, it is gungru sengdana. In short, whatever is being planted is all of the indigenous types. So with the manure from Gir cows, with indigenous seeds, a lot of intercropping, you would see that most of the farms that we have, nothing is monocrop. It's not just one crop in a specific acre. It's a lot of 20, 25, 27 crops coming together: kharif, rabi, tubers, fruits, vegetables, seasonal crops, fresh vegetables being planted. So it's a combination of a lot of plants, monocots, dicots growing together. The pest management is natural. We've kept it as natural as possible, and this is what we love. Yeah, I mean, it's purely a labor of love.
The kind of farming that we did was also based on chemical agriculture. But in the year 2002, after the demise of my father, I started focusing more on my agricultural land. While working on my agricultural land, I started having a lot of questions about the way we were practicing agriculture. Since childhood, I was taught by my parents to work in the fields. We had our ancestral agricultural land in Mumbai, but the way we practiced agriculture had changed. I wanted to understand why did this happen and what are the reasons for the problem that we are facing in agriculture. Then I came across Subhash Parekar's lecture, and then I understood that chemical and industrial agriculture in itself is the problem. So then me and my brother started organic farming.
It's like my mother was a teacher, she was a farmer. I think she studied something third or fourth standard, I don't know, but she was very carefully reading the weekly magazines and also the novels like that. All. She was my inspiration, but she was very carefully safeguarding seeds, storing seeds, and more than that, she was enjoying distributing it to the fellow farmers. They giving the seeds to other women farmers. I think that was the motivation. That is what inspired me, and we started collecting many varieties. And also, this is not only just collecting the seed. You must see the folk tales, proverb, stories around that seeds. That is that seed culture. That is amazing. I think this is what our youngsters must also see. Amazing world. I was in Rajasthan, Banswara. Oh, all the story around the seeds. If the same thing you go to the Himalayas, they tell you 100 story about that Amaranthus, Rajgira. There are many songs around Rajgira. There is songs about that Rajma. So this is what we must, consumers must know what the food we are eating, where it's come from, what is the culture associated it. So this is all, I'm fascinated to travel, so meet the seed savers and collect all this data. That is, I enjoy it. Since 20 years, Sahaja Samruddha engaged in promotion of organic farming, revival of traditional seeds. More than that, linking organic producers to the market, linking seed producers to the market, and linking artisans to the market. This is what creating farmer market across Karnataka. So this is the initiative Sahaja is doing.
In January 2015, we visited Sendriya Setu farm owned by our friend Samir Karmarkar and Vaswatai Sardar. Since then, we got interested and initiated Honest Organic here in Pune. Initially, we started Honest Organic as a passion to supply chemical free food here in Pune. In July 2015, we started with one farm and limited items and limited delivery areas in Pune. After 6 years, we have tied up with many farmers and a large customer base, and we have started home delivering to many parts of Pune city. As part of continuous improvement, we have made many changes in order management, packing and quality improvements.
Shashwat is a fair trade and a social enterprise, and our whole focus to work with marginal and tribal farmers across India. This work has started with the inspiration from the nature, and by observing nature, I got into farming accidentally. I was an IT professional who was in IT for 20 years, led a life in the city like Bombay and Pune, and accidentally got into something that has become my passion right now. If I were to comment on the role of human beings in nature, I would say that is of a seed broadcaster. Just like the birds, bees, and animals, wind, for example. Also, what is this activism, the organic movement? It started off by creating awareness of not doing certain things at all, which will harm the nature. Also, organic movement is about letting the nature be. Nature by itself is regenerative, which means swayambhu, and it is capable of taking care of itself. Sustainability comes from balance. Balance is the quantum of food that we grow, the quality of food that we grow, something that is local versus global, something that is made with hands versus mechanization, and upcycling, recycling, repurposing, natural versus that is made in the factories. So, the organic movement, organic lifestyle is about striking the balance. It is about maintaining, practicing a sustainable lifestyle.
So even for the consumer, organic is something that is long term good for his health, and food that is grown this way, which is of an indigenous variety, which is grown without any chemicals. In this sense, food is medicine. You don't need to go to the pharmacy or to any medical to purchase medicines. This food in itself is medicinal in nature. That's why organic.
The problems that we face today in farming is because of chemical agriculture. Now it is important that we change that. We need to walk with nature. Thousands of years ago, before the evolved man existed, the natural world was in a much better state. We didn't face problems like these. We need to go back to our old ways and relearn to live and exist with nature. We need to respect nature and not destroy it.
So, when it comes to being organic in terms of food and in terms of health, I think the most important thing to start asking is what goes into growing my food? And automatically, if that goes into growing your food, then that also goes into growing you and the nutrition that comes into your body. And when it comes to health, I think we've got to start understanding that a lot of the food that we're eating, while it may be very nice to say that an apple a day keeps the doctor away, is the apple really seasonal? Is it really local? Is it really going to keep the doctor away with all the pesticides and all the fertilizers and insecticides that it has gone through? So these are the kind of questions that we really need to start asking ourselves.
The organic food movement is not a new movement. It's about how food has always been grown. The problem is that now mass production and especially ultra processing has made food very, very cheap. So what you find in the supermarket, and I'm especially talking about food that is ready mixes or your instant noodles or even things like your milk in a carton and things like this, these are highly processed foods going through big factories, and these therefore through the entire mass production chain, a lot of the cost, the real cost of producing this food is highly subsidized, and that's why it's so cheap. But if you're talking about the organic food per se and the true meaning of it, it is about, again, it's about working with nature and getting food from nature. So when you live in a city like Pune, you are living far away from the source of the food. So automatically, for food to be grown and reach you, there's a certain cost that's going to be added in this entire process. Now, if you lived in the village, if you had a farm of your own, then food is abundant. There is no cost for organic food. So it's all about understanding the number of steps that are there between the food, the point at which it is grown and the time it finally comes to you. And the more you increase these steps, and if you try to stay fair at every level to make sure that whoever's involved in this, whether it is the person growing the food, whether it is the person transporting it, packing it, bringing it to your doorstep, if each of these people need to be paid in a fair manner so that they can also sustain their own lifestyle and make a livelihood out of the work they do, then there is going to be a cost that eventually comes down and trickles down to you.
Food that is being grown today, the chemical way, the way everybody else is doing it, or most of the farmers do it, there are two parts to it. One is the seed variety, and then is the process of farming. The seed variety. Now, if you look at most of the seeds today, they are all hybridized, or they're GMO, or they're advanced varieties. For example, look at wheat. The wheat that is being grown today, it has a very high amount of gluten in it. Your body cannot digest that gluten. Now the seeds that we are growing is all of the indigenous nature. We grow a wheat variety called as emmer wheat or khapli wheat. It has a lesser gluten, it has a lower glycemic index. It is something your body can digest naturally very easily. It's also more medicinal in nature. Similarly, if you look at the papayas that we grow, they have seeds inside. The ones you get in the market are seedless. It's a wrong food. I mean, today you have so many seedless varieties coming in. You have lemons today that are seedless. You have grapes today that are seedless. You have papayas today that are seedless. So one is a seed variety. If you're looking at good food, at organic food, it starts with the seed variety. Second is what everybody is concentrating on. So everybody's saying organic, organic, organic. But organic is specific only to the way of farming. When it comes to farming, am I using chemicals? Am I using urea, insecticides, pesticides chemically? So that is a process of farming. But even something more fundamental to organic farming is using indigenous seeds. I can use hybrid seeds and say I'm organic if my process is organic, but it doesn't solve the purpose. So these both things need to work in tandem. You need to have indigenous variety of seeds, and you need to have your process of farming organic, which is not using chemicals, not using any form of synthetic fertilizers. The food that is being grown here is healthy, and organic requires for you to have a small scale. Organic is very labor intensive, is very small scale. It's all made in hand batches, the products. It's very artisanal in nature. So it is something that is very good for us Indians, because the land holding is that we had a tradition of growing food organically, uh, a very rich tradition in agriculture practices. So I think the food that's grown in India is medicinal in nature and very healthy for the body.
Sahaja also started genuinely producing organic produce and then start searching the buyers. We thought initially it was 15 years back, we were all strongly thought only the export markets. You grow organic food, there is a good demand in the export market. So soon we realized it's all dream. You can build markets in India itself. So then we started searching the domestic buyers and also the big malls, outlets, and the big buyers. But soon that is also we realized. Look at that, everyone aiming to get the profits. And also there is even to reach a big mall, there are many hands in between. So each one wants their share. So farmer gets less, consumer for more, and then all the middlemen. So Vidai said how to link this farmers and consumers. That is what we started the concept of melas, organic fair, rice mela, millet mela, many things. That is what it's brought farmers and consumers together. Then that is also because look, Sahaja initiative is very unique. If you see, we were not only promoting the organic farming, we were promoting desi seeds because India is a rich diversity country, amazing diversity. You go to the Sayadri, you will see Ambemahar. Come to Orissa and parts of Andhra Pradesh, you will see the Kalajira. Go to the Kerala, Karnataka, you will see the Gandakachala. And then come to the central Karnataka, you have a unique Karibata. And go to Mysore, that is a Rajamudi. And then up UP, that is a Kala Namak. Are go to West Bengal, it's a Kala Bath, black rice. Such a unique diversity. And our traditional seeds and the food system, it's all intertwined. People growing different traditional crops for the local cousins. So this is also, our food system, our culture, and also the cultivation method and environment, of course. It's all interlinked there. That's what we soon realized. Let's promote traditional seeds, promote traditional farming, and create local markets. So this is consumers are supporting. Only thing is they don't know the knowledge, they don't know the awareness. So this is what Sahaja 1 is, showcasing this rare, rich diversity, whether it's a red jackfruit or a roots and tubers, black rice or a unique black carrots. So these are all unknown world, forgotten foods. So Sahaja making an effort of showing that rich agrobiodiversity and creating an awareness with a scientific evidences. Look at that, there are our traditional wisdom is there, ancient wisdom is there. Then you mix with the scientific validations. So that is what Sahaja is blending traditional and our modern thinking together and presenting it to the consumers and the media. So far last 15 years, we have Desi Rice Mela, Millet Mela, Tuber Mela, Jackfruit Mela, and series of food festivals. So this is what Sahaja is doing, growing, popularizing, and mainstream.
Now it's your call whether to spend for right and good food or spend on medicines by eating unhealthy food.
What we eat is what we become. You know, the GDP of a country is the biggest indicator of the health of the nation. When your pharma industry, when your chemical industry, chemical and fertilizers industry, healthcare and wellness industry is topping the charts, you know the health of your nation. Another wonderful indicator is the food plate. What my mother ate, what my mother's mother ate, okay, and the food plate that has shrunk over the years. It is another indicator of what is it that we are putting in our body. Nature is self-sufficient, it is Swayambhu. It is regenerative. Whatever comes to life lives, feeds, decays and turns into soil. That is the eternal truth. One who has observed the nature keenly knows this absolute truth. When you disrupt the natural cycle, the food web gets disrupted. See, the overuse of herbicide has not only destroyed the natural flora and fauna, it has already driven the butterflies and bees to extinction. The overuse of herbicide not only kills the bad pest, but it also kills the butterflies. Today we have come to a sad stage of hand pollination. There are common myths about organic farming, that organic farming cannot feed the growing population, organic farming is not economical, there aren't enough nutrients in food which is grown organically, just the non-use of chemicals and fertilizers is organic farming. These are common myths, okay. We believe in nature, we worship nature, we observe nature. So we have maintained that the food, we want to keep these small farmers and the tribal farmers in job. These are the people who will conserve the local agrobiodiversity. These are the people who use the knowledge that has been passed down from the generations, the wisdom, and this is the wisdom that we need today for a sustainable world.
Because when you farm sustainably, you actually and when the entire environment thrives. There is one key word in this kind of farming, and that's called biodiversity. And biodiversity is essentially what is the crux of a sustainable farming chain. And if you have biodiversity, there is no doubt that you are actually repairing the world and undoing also a lot of the damage that is being done by chemical farming and by pesticides and insecticides, etc. So I have no doubt that sustainable farming is actually fantastic for the environment when it is done correctly.
A conscious community, which is essentially what we are trying to create, is about this. It is about having different businesses that work in harmony, that work with farmers, that work with each other, and create this strong network where you can have access. You can build this bridge between people living far away in cities, in an urban environment where they have no access to organic food, and to create this bridge. So I think it's very important for people to do this work. If this is not done, then it would not be quite as easy. There would be a loss in transparency. So I am a big advocate for businesses to form networks amongst themselves, to connect with the customer, to connect with the farmer, and to especially have localized networks of production of food, so that people know where their food is coming from. There is somebody in between who is taking care of the logistics, making it all work, and helping the farmer therefore get fair price and bringing what is really needed to the customer right to their doorstep. So therefore I think that that's the work that we do, that's the work that several people around us are also doing, and I think that it's very important for everyone to do this work together.
When you're doing organic farming, it starts from the smallest life. The smallest possible life is your microorganisms. It starts with your bacteria, your protozoa, your nematodes, your microarthropods. Then that which your eyes can see, it's your ants, it's earthworms, it's centipedes, millipedes, the snakes, the rabbits, the foliage, the trees at the farm, the birds that come and perch on the tree. So this is all the nature around the farms. Now, when you grow something with chemicals, if I apply urea, I apply chemicals to my farm, it starts killing my microbiology in the soil. It starts killing those microbes in the soil. If I'm doing it organically with manure, it doesn't affect my microbes in the soil. So it has a direct impact. Organic farming has a direct impact on everything that is surrounding it: the flora, the fauna, the trees, the birds, the microorganisms, the earthworms, and then the humans who consume it. So if you look at any tree, you look at, this is a mango tree I'm sitting under. It has fruits for humans, and then the remaining part of the tree gets back into the soil, or birds come and sit on it. It's a house for the birds to perch on. Ants come in on the tree. So it looking at it only from a human perspective is wrong. You need to look at it holistically, and organic farming adds to the whole environment. But organic farming by nature is such that it is handmade, it is artisanal, it is labor intensive. You're not using any machinery. It is as natural as possible. So when you're not using any machinery, when you're not using any much of technology, you will need a lot of helping hands. In that sense, you generate a lot of employment, and especially at the farm level, at the rural level, where it matters the most. So today, fast forward today, we started with just 2 people at the farm. Today, we employing close to 60-70 families at the farm. It's created direct employment for them. So organic farming, by the way and the nature it is, you're communicating, you're in touch with the local rural people. A lot of women, a lot of village folk women, more than men, get employed in this, in the packaging activity, in the processing activity, in the growing activity at the farms. So this creates direct employment for them, and they're all skilled at it. You're working in the nature. It's skill sets that you've developed for generations, and nothing as enjoyable as this. Even this is your office, so amazing.
In Indian future, I feel if we can encourage the small and marginal farmers, this is what they're the ones that can produce the safe food. They're the ones who can give us the diversified food, and they're the ones who can supply the quality food. I think we must bank on the small and marginal farmers and support them. This is also good for the nature, good for our soil and the microbes, and also it's for the consumer health. This is very much important. But what is lacking in India is this is the time we must encourage women farmers. Let them come together, form the groups, and start the farmers markets. Most of the India, the potato seeds come from Jalandhar. All the way Jalandhar, the potato seed is coming. Again, farmers using lots of fertilizer, pesticides, and labor to grow these potatoes. Even eating this potato regularly have a giant pain, all these problems. Consumer knows the only potato. Farmer also knows only potato. So this is what never ending problem. One is external inputs are more. Even sometimes the price fluctuations, if price fall, again farmers will be in the very distressed situation. What is the solution? You can see back, you see the roots and tubers, amazing world, unknown world, wonder world of these roots and tubers. Especially there is a aerial potato. This is this Diascorea bulbaria, this Diascorea species. You just plant a aerial potato. Then it gives the vine, it's kind of a creeper, it gives abundantly potatoes it gives. These potatoes are rich in fiber, very nutritious.
Our farmers are producing best quality grains, but the important part is how to preserve the same. All the big companies and brands can play a crucial role in preservation of the grains, packing improvements, transport logistics, and consistent pricing across the country.
The consumers also need to take the responsibility. They need to do the proper due diligence, understand the facts, where the food is coming from, ask questions, right questions, and be responsible for what they consume. It is not only the responsibility of someone who grows organically. So it is a combined effort of everyone. And also we have observed that people who have been through chronic disease, okay, these are the people who move to the organic food first. Okay, these are the people who have understood the ill effects, and these are the people who have also seen the good effects of eating something that is a clean food, a food which is grown organically, which is grown naturally. And the fact that there is a cross section of the society which consumes the food. Some are fear driven, who have suffered some illness, and some are driven by the environment. They understand the ecosystem, they understand the implications of not leading a sustainable lifestyle, and these are the people who are consuming and demanding organic food, and this is going to be the trend across the world. So I feel it is the brands, these are the people who are entering this space, have a double responsibility of what information they feed to the gullible consumers. And today when we want to make this a sustainable um, lifestyle, we are going towards a sustainable world, the brands carry a lot of responsibility on their shoulders. I feel it is more important to be a ethical brand than a successful brand.
Each of these brands has a unique story to tell. They have shared with us their insights on how organic food is contributing to our health and to the environment. They have also shared with us how organic brands and consumers are helping in promoting a sustainable society. While some of these brands are focusing on consumer awareness and easy access to organic food, others are focusing on linking urban consumers to farmers and to bringing a holistic view of organic farming while promoting indigenous seeds and natural farming. They are promoting the novel idea of organic farming, which works with the environment and biodiversity on the farm so that we can see nutrition diversity on our plates. However, as members of the society and as consumers, we need to ask ourselves the following questions. Where is our food coming from? How is it grown? What food am I eating? And what culture is it associated with? In the way forward to organic food in India and worldwide, it is not just limited to the processes of organic farming, but also to the use of indigenous seed to increase the nutrition content in our food. It is crucial that we practice natural farming to promote sustainability and strike a balance with nature. It is important that we promote small scale farmers and women farmers and also link them to urban consumers. In India, we have a rich tradition of growing food organically and we need to return to it. It is essential that we treat our food as medicine and build a society which grows, promotes, and consumes organic food which is healthy, nutritious, and environment friendly.